to Bethlehem, New Hampshire, to more or less run a dining room. It was we called it was a head waiter with a station. I did it. I didn't like it. I didn't have anything to do. Then I did it. Coming back, then I settled. And I went in to ask various jobs. And finally, I went to a place where they gave me a job to somebody on 47th Street in a semi-precious stones. They want somebody who's going to learn the trade. What's the word for it when you're learning? When you're still learning, is a word for it.
An apprentice.
That's the one. You become an apprentice and you learn, etc. So I went in and I start with a place on 47th Street. I got $65 a week. And they showed me this is topaz, this is a ruby, and so on. And I was working there, working. And worked there for 2 years, and my wanderlust took me over. In the meantime, there were two partners that were downs, wonderful people. Took in a third partner for financial. He was a miserable character. He and I, from first day on, we didn't see eye to eye. I was still struggling. In April 59, I had the wanderlust in me. And I went in and got the passport. I was 2 blocks from the passport office. 2 days later, I got my passport mailed to me. I went into a friend of mine who was a travel agent. I want to go to Israel. In those days, you buy a ticket from furthest point. In between going, in between coming, you can stop as many places as you want. Excuse me. I got a ticket from New York, Tel Aviv. Going there, I stopped in Paris for a week, Milano, Rome, Venice. Another week, I got into Israel 3 days before Passover. Everybody invites you. I was there.
Did you knew people in Israel?
Sure, some of them who immigrated out from the DP camp where I was. And one cousin and her father, Meila Smith, was still alive. Her mother, who was my father's sister, was not alive. And I spent there quite a few weeks. On our way back, I'm just jumping ahead to tell you the tour. On our way back from Israel, I'm sorry I interrupted you. On our way back, I stopped Athens. I don't remember chronologically, but among other places, Vienna, Zurich, London, I forgot what else. And the trip took me 4 months and 2 days, and I spent in 9 countries. And by this time I speak English, I speak German, so I got away. In any country except in Greece, I had a little difficulty, so I learned that a glass of milk is potiri galla, or a piece of bread is psomi, so I ate that for 2 days, I survived. And karpuzhi in the summertime is watermelon, couldn't go hungry. And then after I come back, he says, now okay, now you really settle. And then I went back to 47th Street, and these guys, the guys who take me back, that is third partner who we hated each other mutually, wouldn't hear of it. I went to another fellow, and then it went on, then another guy who was already more established, over there. In these places, again, from 59 till 64, I worked constantly, thank God, but wasn't steady. 64, I got a job with the Opal House where I was working till 64 to 74. Then I changed for the simple reasons, more money, with another house. And the other house was 1 year, but the son of the father couldn't see eye to eye, establish his own business. He took me with him. I became vice president of the company. That's when I had to go twice a year to Hong Kong and Taipei for buying. That's when I traveled the United States.
So when you retired from that place?
No, I went. They had some difficulties. I went to another house. Here I'm not going to mention names, where they were partners, and everything was hunky-dory for 4 years. All of a sudden, both darling fellas, but they don't agree with each other. They have to fight. Then I got enough on my head. I'm getting out. I'm not going to stay here. I went to another company where I was 6 years. This is where I retired from. Over there I was manager of a department, and again buying, but no overseas, just local. But sit on the phone with France or with Taipei or with Hong Kong, this or Germany, and this and that. But this time everything is. Fax wasn't in there, but the telex was. So in 1 hour you get back and forth. Later on we had the fax already. I can send a fax tonight, 8 o'clock tomorrow, 8 o'clock I come in, I have the answer.
Yeah. Well, when you look back on your life, what do you feel very satisfied about?
I tried to be honest, and I made it. I'm by far not a rich guy. I don't own a home. I don't own a summer home. Cars I had, but every schlemiel has a car. So I didn't have. I got married. I had 3 wonderful children.
What was your wife's name?
Well, you mean the maiden name? Hoffman.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
Hoffman. And her first name?
Frimet, but she prefers to use the name of Fran.
Fran.
Yeah.
And your children?
My children, chronological, a girl, Razy, second a girl, Sharon, and my son David. Razy and David may they live a long, happy life, named after my parents. My son, father. The second girl named after my mother's mother. And they are grown up already, adorable, pain in a butt, but they're wonderful, and they're charming, and they're beautiful, and I just love them. Maybe I'm partial, but I still love them.
And whatever happened, did you find out about your sister in any definitive way?
No, never. A friend of mine gave me an address, it's about 3, 4, 5 years ago. American Red Cross stationed either Copenhagen or Stockholm, where they I'll come back in a second to details. They try to find people. I wrote to them. Every 2 years I hear from them, we're still on the case, but I never heard anything. By the way, my sister, I followed her after liberation. She was, of course, in Auschwitz. Then she was in Stutthof. This was established by the Herskovits people. From Stutthof to here at Gloucester, she went to places called northern Germany or wherever. Proust or Torn or Proust. Now, in those sections, which is well known, the Russians, after the war was over, they just grabbed a group of people, took them into Russia for slave labor. I don't know if she's dead. I never heard anything from her. I still have her story, this thing what I wrote in for the questionnaire, quote, open and active, unquote. I didn't hear anything. Just about figuring by the time of the years, soon I should hear from them something. They're pursuing it or whatever. But otherwise I don't have anything. I never.
And how is this time in your life, your post-retirement?
It's boring. The first 2-3 months were beautiful. Now it's boring. I'm looking for something to do. Money wouldn't hurt either, but mostly to occupy myself. And I'm definitely actively looking for and speaking with people. General business conditions overall are not so good. Oh, of course, I can get a job for at McDonald's or whatever for $5-6 an hour. Sorry, that ain't for me, and I'm unwilling to do. And
how about looking back on your decision to come here and living your life here since you came to this country? How do you feel about that?
Not sorry at all. I'm happy. Probably the only decision that I really made wisely. Usually I always goof, but this was made wisely. The opportunity one gets here is it's unbelievable. If you're willing to work hard, and I worked hard. When I was working for this Weiss & Clow company, I used to take weekend jobs and catering call. And I started the first weekend, I was a dishwasher. Then I got a huge break. And that's next weekend, the party, a waiter didn't show up. And the owner comes and said, do you know how to be a waiter? If you were asking to how to know a jet plane, wouldn't have said yes. Of course, I'm an experienced waiter. So I became a waiter. From then on, I was at a weekend job. and you were making, excuse me, 75 cents an hour in a regular job.